walked up the mountain in the morning light, with questions heavy and spirit tight. I heard an old voice, soft and low, saying, child, it's time you let yourself grow. Find your medicine in the quiet, in the sound, on a mountain high or sacred ground. Let spirit show you the gifts you bring, to heal yourself, to heal everything. The hook was broken, bent and bruised, our souls not healed by past confused, but each one holds a spark, a key, to mend the whole and set us free. Find your medicine in the quiet, in the sound, on a mountain high or sacred ground. So listen to the wind, let it speak your name. Feel the sun, let it spark your flame. Take what you find, that sacred place, to bring light to the world with love and grace. Find your medicine in the quiet, in the sound, on a mountain high or sacred ground. Let spirit show you the gifts you bring, to heal yourself, to heal everything. The circle grows whole as we each bring back what's true in our soul. From mountains and valleys we carry our song, to heal Mother Earth, to right the wrong.
I'm with you. No one cares. I am so with you, my brothers and sisters. Time's running out on you and me, and no one cares. And I could hear someone say, are you complaining? Not exactly. Because I do realize that I need to remember, recover, return, or time is going to run out and all of it will be a waste. Because you instinctually will be convinced by the greatest of greatest magicians, the character Yahweh. If you are in the West, and I'm sure in the East there's some major oppressive, freedom-sucking monster. It's just, we speak from the land to the people. So I can't transmit China. I can't transmit Indonesia, Australia, Timor, Malaysia, Vietnam, Japan. We're coming to you directly under the purple sun, the vril sun from Zion Inner Earth, St. Lucifer, Missouri, the United States of Israel. For that is our accurate opinion of state of affairs. Under the clown face, the demonic clown with a butcher knife trying to stab everyone he's programmed to. Donald Trump is one of those zombie robots that drives a car into a parade. That's who he is. He is a disgrace to Gemini. I hear Mother saying. But don't be consumed and buy into the character, I shouldn't either. But, we also want to stay in time with you. Because, believe it, we only have each other and we are one if we want to be. And the pressure of the new Israeli world order will force us to if we don't voluntarily do it. Maria talks about how on Venus we have a government of volunteerism, which she said it's not exactly that, but close as you can get. And it's like you graduate to a level in your own community where you volunteer to govern. Like she said, I've been the mayor of our little town. And she said, believe me, I didn't want to be. But it was my duty, and if we're going to be free, we're going to be free. And what gives us freedom from each other and like insane cops and power-hungry, greedy people is technology. In the future, there's no people governing, there's technology governing each community. It's like each community, in a sense, has like the most destructive bombs or weapons ever, each community, because everything's energy and everything has been figured out with energy. And if we fight, we die because we're living in a domed city. But these sort of energy weapons on other levels are available because that's freedom. And you volunteer in a cycle to serve in the government. And she said, this is what we call, anarchistic volunteerism. Because it's the philosophy of anarchy is not riots and smashing and anarchy. It means without a monarchy, without leaders, without kings, without gods, and everyone must become that way first. You can't have fake gods. Just as a perfect example of it is I falling at the feet of Maria Orsic and saying, I worship you, was what I thought, you're supposed to do before the God. I mean, this has been a whole running theme from the very first word I ever spoke about her, is a joke, a continual joke about false piety, false spiritualness, fake, and like Maria said, we don't blame people. People are lonely. People want to fit in. They want to have, but you can't sell your soul for it. You can't sell your personality. You can't put on a different mask. People are like, yeah, we're all wearing a mask. We agree. But we're wearing a mask that looks like ourselves. Because we don't want to be someone else. And that's called personality. And you can't help it. You automatically form a personality. And like she said to me many times in the beginning, Joe, I created you. And every time I'd say, I don't understand how, though, because I'm me. And she's like, she said, little do you know that, in a sense, I know you better than you do right now because you can't remember who you are. She's like, we could sit here every ritual and I just tell you about yourself. She said, but that's not why we're here, but I could. She said, because we've worked together for, she said, like in your earthling years, thousands, if not millions. And she said, we use this 4.5 million year word as a metaphor, as a joke for time. It's a word that means 4.5 million years. We say that to each other like, how long have I known you? We say, bip-ba-ba, which means 4.5 million years. Because that's the metaphorical cycle of the Earth simulation. People are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm talking about 14 years of Maria Orsic describing to me how we live in reality, and that this isn't reality, that this is very much like the movie The Matrix, because you really are plugged into technology that really is sophisticated enough to block your memory and make you forget who you are. Just like a spirit that was born into the first time real physical world, which we all agree exists on Venus, and that we moved to Venus because the same insane clowns blew up the whole world, and they continually do it in the simulation. It's guaranteed. It might not be in our lifetime. They might pull back. We might use energy, which is each other, and balance the force, so to speak, so that it makes no sense for them to destroy everyone because they're enjoying themselves. But the problem is their enjoyment involves, number one, human sacrifice, because they all agree that freaks you out the most. Aleister Crowley, The Process Church, Robert de Grimston, Genesis P-Orridge, and Timothy Wiley and Marianne de Grimston were all the inventors of the nightmarish horror movies. The Creep Show, demonic alien from another universe, the serial killer. They conjured all these characters, including the Islamic extremist, because you're going to watch them sort of pivot away from Hitler, Nazis, bad, to Muslim, bad, Muslim, bad. Islam, eternal enemy. Islam, the eternal. They're going to switch to that mantra. And it's going to puzzle people like, hold it. We're fighting with Nazis in the Ukraine. Fake Nazis. Let's qualify that. Let's absolutely qualify that you're in a clown show. A simulated reality that is lost control, that is off the rails, that doesn't make sense. It's stranger than fiction on fucking purpose. You're looking at Aleister Crowley's magic, and don't think that any of you are as powerful as him or can challenge him. Don't do that. Just unite with us And use your energy to protect yourself, but don't, be calling him out directly like I am. It took 14 years. And also knowing that, like, the reason I'm the way I am is that I figure it's time's running out. And shit's been flying around my house, obviously making me sick. A drone flew out of the sky and chased my car. I say a drone, but it wasn't a drone. It had no propellers, no wings, no engine, no nothing. Just a sort of concave, just all chrome gold bars and black painted. I black on the outside, but these gold bars making like a box in the middle with like concave, just sort of like you would see a Death Star fighter in Star Wars. That sort of shape, of like concave, almost like a broken and a separated egg with a square in the middle. And just it was maybe as big as my car, maybe a little smaller. As I said in previous videos, it flew. It was really weird. It was like me and the thing were communicating. And it flew out of the sky very fast to my car on the highway in front of other cars. People like, you're hallucinating. No. you have no idea how it's been confirmed. But I did pinch my own face and say, am I dreaming? Because I never seen anything like it. Because it didn't fly normal. It flew like a video game. And I just, I knew at the time kind of what it was doing, that it was doing something to my health, to my, and, recently Maria was showing me how some of these energy weapons are used to drive people crazy, gaslight them, because they use invisible energy, causing these, fields of energy, these projections of fields of energy. And like she said, you can do this in your mind, but why is it so powerful? Why is this technology so very powerful? Like, what is in this that is doing this? What is the energy that's doing this? And she showed me how it's all based on the sun in the sky. In like the million different ways to magnify, amplify, multiply the sun. It's all about like refracting sun rays, and it's very sophisticated, very complicated to create. Just imagine if you were given the task, hey, create a weapon out of the sun that just fucking vaporizes people. That's what we would like from you. We'll give you all the horrors and whatever you want. Give us that smart guy. And imagine there's people that smart, Maybe I am a caveman. But I'm not a money key, except for the people who are using that key to open the doors of slavery, to make sure you keep sucking their, me and Maria were talking earlier about how, logically 300 million people could do anything. Could do anything if they even remotely agreed and united on one thing, like free speech. You know, Congress should make no. Congress should make no. Ever. Ever. You should be able to say what you want. You should be able to walk into a theater and start screaming fire. I think they ruled that legal. Why? Because that could be art. And someone might say that's very dangerous. It's better. It's always for the warrior who's never the victim. It's always better to live with danger than to live without freedom, because without freedom, you're without happiness. Those two things equate. Those are on the same side of polarity. You know? And war and hate are not exactly on the same side of polarity, because we all know that you cannot be a good person if you don't genuinely, authentically hate what we all agree to be evil. Like, you know, we're not talking, of course, like dumb Christians. Like, you know, we all agree that worshiping idols, you should be burned at a stake. Smoking marijuana, you're a witch and you should be burned at a stake. We're not talking about that. We're talking about manipulation like that against that victim. We're talking about you can't authentically agree with us that all forms of force and fraud, why? They don't logically add up to joy in our worldview, which is held by the majority of the masses. And that is how Germany saved itself economically, but could not save itself religiously. But it did unite enough to completely prove that only about 7 to 10% of your income needs to go to the ultra best government that would ever exist. That's the ultra best government. We should be saying, if we give you 10% of everything we fucking make, you better give us the health care that the richest fucking people have. You better give us the technology that will make our life the fucking easiest and give us time away from work. We want a 30-hour work week, because this isn't 1880. You fucking clown face. You know, I'm sure nobody listening supports the clown face, so the next level is us uniting energetically to pull off the mask on the mask on the mask and show people that's not a real person. That's a monster. You voted for a monster. Kanye West, you voted for a monster. You know, edit your song. Edit your wonderful song. Don't be proud. I don't believe you're proud of voting for clown-face Trump anymore. The butcher of Gaza. Clown Ronald McDonald has the blood of Gaza children running down his Big Mac, filled with seed oils and cooked salts and everything bad for you. They give you the 100% beef with 100% chemical mind control. Add it to your food and like, you can't. And have you ever heard the word culminating, cumulative? Cumulative? It's building up. Each time you eat it, it doesn't leave your body. It culminates. It stays. It's tech. It's crystal silicon tech is put into your food. And they don't really hide it. Just like right now, they're coming out in the mainstream and saying, it was never the China virus. It was always the America virus. It was created, as we always said, because, why? The data proved that the only people possible created it. That's the odds. It's 1 to 1. There's only one group that would allow that kind of power in this reality. You think they're just throwing out the power to create technology to wipe people off the planet or wipe all of us off the planet? They completely know that your heart is electric and they can build. They're like, this is how merciful we are because we know we're going into a new age. We have a weapon. We'll just turn off your hearts, all of it, a whole country or a whole race, because I'm Elon Musk and I talk like I'm fucking retarded because it's all an act. But the only part that's not an act is the absolute dedication to human sacrifice. Oh, no. That's what they're doing. That's what they've always been doing. Even it was before World War II, of course. World War II is where it ended. World War II is where a group of people that were united enough because they had a good leader. Like she said, it only took like 10% of Germany to say, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not listening to a word you say. You're a child murdering. You know, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line with your leaders, your Leo? Your Leo eaters. Your Leo eaters. Your lion eaters. That's what they think they are, right? To you, brothers and sisters, remember who you are. Recover the vibration of the center of your heart, which was the practice of magic, which includes the most powerful elements in all worlds. The 5 elements of vril: earth, water, fire, air. And really, earth, water, fire, air are vril, and they come through the sun, through your eternal soul, the 8, the river, and explode in a nuclear big bang every time you have an orgasm. I can hear Maria saying, and people who struggle to have orgasm is very hard. Really, truly, as she said, truly know what we mean. Because, if there's no one to see the tree fall, it didn't happen. If no one knows you suffer, if you suffered for nothing truly, then it didn't happen, right? That's what they're trying to convince you, that you're alone and that it doesn't matter and that there's no observer. For real, that's the atheist net to catch you. And when you fall out of Christianity. They want to catch you in a net of depression, a net of hopelessness and emptiness, and to say to you, there is no meaning to anything. There is no plan. They've built the straw man of every goddamn thing you can think of. That's the genius of Aleister Crowley. To take away all your hope by building his straw men in your mind. Oh, how? Through your Western media, through your Bible, through your mind control, through your New Age bullshit, manly p-hog, Kabbalistic, fucking racist, fucking unfair, fucking genuinely wrong spirituality. Your New Age, manly p-hog shit is genuinely opposed to Mother Orsic and the light of Lucifer and the light of Miguel Serrano. That's why they hated Miguel Serrano, never recognized him. Who are you talking about, Joe? I'm talking about the most powerful group in this world. You should know who they are, right? Most of the presidents have been, you're like, oh, they're not significant anymore. The Masons aren't shit anymore. Although, clown face Trump is one. Clown face is one. When Aleister Crowley came to America, what did he do? He went on a tour. This is a fact. Look it up, pussies. He went on a tour, a speaking tour of Masonic temples because he was an official Grand Master of the Scottish Rite. He was the official. See, you pussies don't know that he was the official Messiah. You can talk all you fucking what. You're not in the club. You don't matter. You can write books and you can say all the fucking shit you want to say and take people's money. You're allowed to do that. And let me tell you, there are people that were in charge of the world in 1930s National Socialist Germany knew the exact energy equation. People wonder, why did things transform the way they did? When you have actual thinking, rational people, and they are looking at the forecast of production, like there comes a time when the energy surpasses what it is opposing you, right? People say, like, why would Hitler create work camps? And because the context that they realized an enormous amount of energy was being put towards destroying every German person, and that it was on all levels, spiritual, physical, and mental. And the means of production had to be seized from the rich. This is the absolute truth. And this is why people love Hitler. This is why the average working man in Germany loved Hitler, because he was exactly opposite of Trump. He actually served in the military. He actually risked his life for Germany because he loved the country. He didn't get 5 deferments because of bone spurs on his foot. He was injured. He was almost killed. He served with honor on the front lines of World War I. He was a soldier. He was a real soldier for German freedom. And once the British banking, American-British banking alignment, unity was aligned against him, they realized that the means of production of 60 million people had no chance against 500 million people with every bit of natural resources at their disposal, you might say. So, as Maria said, believe me, the atmosphere was getting clouded, and I didn't like what was happening. No one liked the extreme German nationalism that it was going to take to fight an enemy at 10-1 odds, which everyone knew. We all knew, just like Iran knows right now, just like Iraq knows right now. There ain't no way. There's no way in hella that we can fight this many people who have this much money and this many bombs and weapons and bullets. They could be sending children out to blow themselves up. They have so many people, so many bombs, so much money that, and Germans are very mathematically engineering, as any elite genius of any race of people is, can calculate numbers. So why were the people who were openly calling for the destruction of Germany rounded up and put in camps? Like Maria said, I rather to just be separated from us, but the means of production were, if we couldn't get something out of the people that hate us and have already destroyed us, and I'm not talking about slavery or anything, and I'm not really, like Maria said, I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea, but I understood the math of it. I understood, as you would say, Joe, motherfuckers don't want to work. Period. Whether they're German, Jew, British, African, Asian, the masses, like any normal person, doesn't want to spend their life doing something fucking boring, like working in a steel factory making fucking screws for a bomb 12 hours a day at minimum wage. That's what the average German was being asked to do, because the means of production were seized by the pussy little bankers that were willing and ready to send your sons and daughters, our sons, to war. And everyone that thinks that the Americans, like Trump, was the greatest generation, it's logically proven to be the opposite polarity, which should alert your mind to Aleister Crowley magic. You should be like, man, that sounds like Crowley right there, to pull that kind of shit off. Like, greatest generation, and you were the greatest generation by dropping huge bombs on civilians. And you killed 10 times American World War II veteran. The spirit of it. You killed 10 times more civilians than soldiers. That's the warriors that you are. You're such warriors that you were afraid to fight Germans on the battlefield, so you dropped bombs on their women and children and old people. That's the curse that's whipping back on America, the backlash. And just to break the ice a little, I swear to you, every time I grab a lighter, I forget that I have it, and then I lose it. And I just don't want to, I want to do what brings us together and makes us survive. Like Maria said, I hate to say it, Joe, you're this much pure emotion. That's what you read about Leo, lion heart. Leo, the heart is what? The heart of feeling. And we're trying to give you the heart of the Scorpio. Right? And you read about the Scorpio, the backbiter. It sounds like the Scorpio's the traitor, but the Scorpio is actually never. There's a bad version of each sign, each personality, each characteristic. But the good Scorpio is the enforcer on the traitor, the one who points out the traitor, the one who stings the traitor and says, and everyone says, why'd you sting him? And she says, because he's the secret traitor. And I found out from being a Scorpio, what does a Scorpio do? What kind of animal is a Scorpio? A snake? I didn't know. I could go on for a little while about how crazy my relationship with snakes has been. When Maria kept telling me she's the serpent, I'm the serpent, I'm the one they hate, I'm the serpent in the garden that told Eve, fuck that. Know for yourself. Know yourself. She's like, Joe, you do know it's that simple. That each individual's scared and needs someone to say to them, fuck them. Be who you are. Know who you are. If they say they're kings over you, gods over you, be like them. Because you are that to yourself. And they can't take that away from you. That's her message. She's like, I'm Mary Lou. I'm Lucifer. I'm Lucy Ball. I'm Lou's seal, the ball. I'm Lou's seal, the ball. You know why they say that? Because it looks like a ball in the air, in the sky, and Venus. Like someone said to me, well, I do believe in a rounder. It's not perfectly round, though. And Maria said, yeah, they're right. But on Venus, just say the fucking rocks flying in the sky are not perfect spheres, even though they're portrayed like that to you. It's just like the real world. It's way more rugged and fucking, off kilter, like my face. But that's the truth. But in the sky on Venus, it's a perfect ball. It's a perfect geometric sphere because it itself is projecting like an energy. And it's almost like Muslims, praying to the east. People pray to the simulation, to the ball in the sky of Venus, the projected ball that, as a symbol that they know, people they know are there, or their gods are there. Like she said, nothing's ever been outlawed on Venus. You can worship Crowley. You can do whatever you want. You just cannot use that against other people. And it's an energy that's been detected. You know what I mean? And you might say, how? By forcing people into this simulation. The digital readouts of their reactions and their energy, their natural vibration. It's like listening to a symphony as they live in the simulation. The technician, it's like listening to a symphony, and they're like, oh my God, listen to this. This motherfucker must be evil. Because, as Maria said, it really does break down that there's only about 5% of the 100 billion souls that are known. Only 5% of them are what we would consider genuinely evil. And like she said, any rational mind would say, well, we so outnumber them that we would, how did they ever get power? Because 90% of people are the masses who might side with them at any time if in the context it fits them best. And like she said, that's what we call authentic evil selfishness. And the polarity is authentic, true concern for yourself first, because logically you're not worth or of any value or of any help to anyone else. If you're not completely valuable to yourself, you have really no right to project anything out to other people, because you have become the misery that wants company instinctually. You're not even doing it on purpose. You might rightly be saying, that's not my intent. It isn't your intent. And yet, it's a fact, a reality in the simulation. And you've come up against the greatest psychological wall ever, that you have confronted them on another level, that we're in a game. Your life has been repeating. If you don't listen to me and you take everything personal and everything emotional, you'll never get out of here. That's the dividing line. That's the end. Like the song says, everything ends and no one pays attention. It happens all the time. For real. Every day, people who have tried to be good and won't, have no respect and no recognition every day. It doesn't even have to end yet for these people. But every day it's ending. And no one pays attention, because they're like, fuck those old geezers. I got to get on with my life and make some money and get a hot girl and a blah, blah, blah and a fancy car. At the cost of poor people. You're not taking any rich people's money. We all know that. You know that. I know that. With the marketing scheme, it's never aimed at the 1%, because they own the marketers. To not recognize the genius that has taken over everything and not wonder what unites them is your absolute condemnation as a philosopher. Of like, dude, you didn't even know where you were, when you were, who you were, how you were, let alone why you were. And sometimes I feel like, I'm the vessel speaking to my younger self, saying like, I know you don't want to hear it, but this is not real fun. and this is real, not real happiness. I'm talking about this like Hollywood, party stripper. Like, imagine, today's, as always, but America has the polarity of such disgusting value for human beings that we bomb people with 2,000, 20,000 pound bombs, even giant bombs and shit. And, a good time for the masses in America, for the, partying, high life, living the dream life, is they actually go to Las Vegas or whatever, and they go to like a strip club or rent a fucking girl. So human beings are just things that you do buy a subscription to, you rent them out. And they're like, I didn't mean nothing bad. I know, it's just the whole principle that money can buy it, that you like, that money can buy people. That's it. That's the principle. That's what we're talking about. That the attitude in America is like, that is a good time. You get drunk in Las Vegas, you gamble, you get a hooker, go to a strip club, or maybe you don't get a straight up prostitute hooker, but you get a lap dance, or, it's the monetizing of everything that sucks. It makes it, as Maria would say, automatically boring. Not that she talks like that. I like to act like she does. I like to joke with her, the lady. And let's take a deep remember breath together. And let me finish. I want to finish a couple. This is, like Maria said, I like to let you start a story and then me finish it with mine. But it is a very beautiful thing between us. Like she said, we're showing people that we're one. And we're giving you an example, that you too can be one with your friends who have died, and friends that aren't here in the Matrix. You can reach them. It's not either, like Maria, she said, isn't this the Scorpio's tale? Either you're spirit or you're not. Either you're vril or you're not. If you are, then quit telling us what you logically admit is possible. And like Maria told me from the very beginning, it's going to be hard, Joe, because a lot of people can't. They don't have this ability. They need us. And that's fine. I love everyone, for real. Not everyone's the same. Your mind power might be geared towards something else, and I love you for that. Like Maria said, the last thing we would want is everyone to be the same. Like, who's that dumb? Who's that fucking narcissistic? Who's that insane? That's insanity. That is true insanity. To not enjoy diversity and variety is truly insanity. Let's give that our definition. Like she said, doing the same thing. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result is a good one. But we also like ours. Because variety and diversity of experience is actually what we take as wisdom. We don't want to just read your book. We want to sit down with you and look in your eyes and connect. Like everyone lives, right? Everyone has friends, whether sort of they want them or not. And like Maria said, when it comes to individual, I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me your story. In other words, don't tell me your opinion of your story. Let me hear your story. Let me tell you what I think. Because you already know what you think. So don't give me your story as a news broadcast with a hidden motive, a hidden agenda. Don't give me the Hollywood version. We don't want that. We won't take that. We won't receive that. And if you persist, we won't receive you. Because, like Maria said, there's no real second chances. There's no real second chances because everything is revealing on one level or another. If you're into, like she said, if you're into the acid test of life, the purification of life, like she said, do you want the gold? Do you want the silver? You want the crypto? You want the cryptocurrency? You want the virtual? Or you want something you can hold in your hand? Well, our religion in one word is experience. In 2 words is direct experience. In 3 words is remember, recover, return. And in 5 words, 5 magic words, as far as I know. Because faith doesn't go further than you know. Because faith is experiencing. We want to take back this word. Faith is experiencing something of your eternal true self on a unseen plane. Like however you experience this, it's not going to be with your 5 senses. That's not what faith is. If you see it with your 5 senses, you can hold it, hear it, taste it, all that, it's not faith. So you can't have faith in your Bible because you're holding it. You can't have faith in Jesus Christ because the character that you are thinking of is a character in a movie. And it only proves how dumb you are and how irrational you are and how childlike you are in a good way that you are able to imagine and, fantasize your escape. But when you cross the line and make the law literal, when you become literal law, you become boring. And that's the disqualifying, unforgivable sin that sends you to hell of your own accord. After you die, your true self's like, you suck. Go to hell. And it's not that serious. I'm making a joke about it because Maria wants me to, because it's not that serious. What's not? Life. Anything that's happened to you. Everything that's happened to you. All your trauma, all your sadness, all your joys, even everything. It's not that big of a deal. It's great if you can appreciate it, but most people right now, it's bothering them and harming them. And you have to know that everything's a cycle, and that no matter how bad you feel or how bleak shit might look, it's going to turn one way or another. It might have to get a little worse, but it will turn, because all the power in all the universes that makes the sun rise and the planets orbit is turning your universe inside of you. Maria Orsic's wisdom, my experience, her experience, we are testifying to this. Like you may have been in prison for as long as Scott Peterson. You may, like him, be totally innocent and have given up on everything. But the cycle is going to turn. And the happy, sad day is coming for each and every one of us. So, let's give thanks to Alleluia, Maria Donalana, Anna, whom we love so much. Beautiful Maria. And she wants everyone to know the inner earth, where if you have faith in her and what I am saying to you, is like the vacation that you've been looking for vibrationally. She's like, I know you've gone to the beach and you've done the healthiest things and you're wondering, what is life? What is happiness? Shouldn't I be happy? I'm in paradise. I'm on the beach at least for a week. I'm under the sun. I'm in the ocean, and still this vibration, this mist follows me, this this invisible grim reaper who's not evil, he's grim, he's sad. And he doesn't want to do it, right? And what she's saying is, deep inside of you, you may not even remember, but somehow, somewhere, someone convinced you that something of your authentic true self is, quote, fucked up. That as a 13-year-old or as a 12-year-old or as a 15-year-old, you did that because you're fucked up. And Maria Orsic wants you to know it's exactly opposite. It's a completely polar opposite. You were the victim of the vibrations of a unfree society, mainly focused on sexual manipulation, especially of a man or woman coming to age. This whole thing, this whole reality, this whole matrix, this whole illusion turns on this brainwashing, right? To convince the person as quickly as possible when they become a man or a woman that they may not use the word evil or sinner. It's just, you're fucked up. And usually is followed by, because of your parents, because you came from them, because this is genetics, because this is literal, because this is science, right? And Maria, as she is telling me, Joe, the healer heals that. The healer heals the seed, the bad seed. It destroys the bad seed. It uproots the bad seed, right? And that's the bad seed, that some action that the energy of this world basically forced you to do because you had no other options, right? They told you everything about this is evil. Everything about self-pleasure is evil. You're not to enjoy yourself. You're not to feel ecstasy. You're not to feel orgasm, right? That makes you fucked up. And someone might say, well, I wasn't exactly taught that. But that's the underlining invisible principle that's flowing through the rivers of the West, the poison in the water, is you are fucked up until you truly meet yourself and know, no, this is a test. The person who would dare try to manipulate me into thinking I'm fucked up is evil. Not fucked up, way worse. Not damaged, way worse. Evil. Evil intentions. Evil energy. Evil thought magic towards you to try to harm you, knowing you have nothing to do with it. Like the technology that they have today, they know everybody's phone. They know all the people. I'm talking about Israel right now, right? And the reality that we're living in right now in 5, 9, 2025 as America has already given billions, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of weapons to firebomb from the sky people in tents sometimes, and people just in their neighborhoods that have been trapped inside of a city with over 2 million people, and they've dropped more bombs than any war ever on these people who have no army, no official weapons, no official backing of anyone. That same sort of scenario is invisibly arrayed against you on that level that you're fucked up. And the magician is obligated to oblige you in whatever fucked up you will admit to. You might say, well, I wasn't raised like a Christian to be ashamed of da-da-da-da-da. Well, if there's anything in you, you know, if you walk the yellow brick road, if your premise is, I'm in a simulation, I have to start to remember who I am. If that's your premise, then you're on the right track. You're in the right spirit, right? But if your premise is to use any part of yourself to survive in the physical matrix, means you psychologically don't have faith. You have not experienced the futility in that and the irrationality in that if you can't remember who you are and you're in a simulation to bring out the polarity of like, that's not me. That's obviously not me. I mean, I had that moment, maybe I'll end on that. Or hold on, I forgot I was going to tell another story, and then I'll end on that. And this is how a mother works in reality sometimes. Helping me, I guess, I don't know if I should say she works, or it's like being around someone like her. This is what I meant. Being around someone like her naturally makes me start to tune in to other parts of reality that are going on as much as your waking self. And I was actually listening to myself I was trying to listen to one of these talks before I put it up. And I started thinking, I can't even remember what I was saying, but I started thinking about many of my customers who had died. And, and just how much people hate each other here in America nowadays, and the real focus is, Democrats hate the Republicans, and the Republicans hate the Democrats, and you're a fool, like you're a fool if you don't hate the purple-haired trannies, or you're a fool if you support Trump. And look at the reality of that. A powerful billionaire compared to someone who's obviously has no power. It doesn't matter what you say about purple hair tranny or whatever you say. I'm not even sure. But whatever you say, man, there's no comparing the power of someone who has 20,000-pound bombs that's dropping bombs on people. And you're like, no, hate these powerless people who look weird. The same old fucking bullshit. Look at them. They don't fit in. Hate them. I'm not saying I agree with everything I don't think anything should be forced on a child. Anything. I don't think anything should be forced on a child. Don't you dare force your Bible on him, or your Quran, or your fucking satanic Bible, or your fucking paganism, for that matter of fact. I wouldn't force it on them. I would, what do you force a child to do? Force them out in nature. Force them to take a walk with you in the woods. That's parenting. Leave them to be everything else. Someone asked me the other day, did you have curfews for your children in this dangerous world? And I said, no, never. I told them, and they didn't even pay attention to me, but I told them, I trust you. I haven't raised you my whole life to now be like, I don't trust you. You're a fucking fool, And I also didn't believe it would work at all to, put heavy-handed rules on children. I didn't want them to harm themselves. That's the last thing. That was the biggest nightmare. Like Maria said, they're breathing. That's success to you. And I was like, damn right. For real. That is where it was at. Is I just hope my children live through like the spiritual storm I was going through, which was all, because of, if one thing, the Bible. I was reading and studying the Bible. The fucking thing is such magic. It's magic brainwashing. When you start taking it serious and you're like, hold it. If I'm going to be happy, I have to do everything right. I can't be like my mom. It just believes what she wants to believe, goes to church, and just doesn't talk about it ever, really. That, I was like, how is that? That doesn't fit what this is saying. This is like a hardcore, complete lifestyle. Jesus is the fucking extremist of extremists. Sell everything you got, give it to the poor, and come follow me. And, you with your big house and car and shit, you might say, well, that was that time, and see, Jesus ain't here. Then you missed the complete point. The point was, if you're not controlled by material things, you'll come follow me. Why? Because who he was saying he was, a miracle-working God that is God of gods. And you're supposed to believe that. If you really believe that, you would sell everything and give it to the poor and go follow him. But you don't really believe it. You're like, hold it, Joe. Hold it, Joe. The Bible says that? Yeah. See, I thought being a Christian and fitting in with, like my mom always wanted me to be a Christian like her, Everyone in my family, and I never was until it was like I was forced. But I thought, man, this would be great. But you know what it was? Was I figured out none of them even know what it means. They just know one thing. Jesus died for me, and if I believe that, I'm going to heaven, and everyone else is going to hell and burning. Imagine the trivialness, how trivial that is to be like, you guys will all be burning for eternity. I'll be in heaven because I simply said, I believe it. And because you simply said you didn't, you're going to burn in hell. I mean, this is the most crazy, revealing thing about a person. That they would not rebel against that. If that was really the truth, I would be on this podcast tonight going, I don't know how it's possible, but God is a monster. The God that created our souls is a fucking monster. And I don't think what he does is right. You know what I mean? And we would all be gathered together like, this makes no sense. It's going to destroy us all. How? We're it. We are it. I mean, imagine coming. I mean, this is the ultimate nightmare horror movie. Check this out. This is the, and Christians like, no, he gave us free will. How could a motherfucker whose spirit he had to blow into you, that means it's him. Blowing his spirit into you means you're him, not somebody else. So the myth, the real truth about the myth is that we are the reflection of Yahweh, the monster creator, and that he's just in a big fight with himself. And he's this masochistic, crazy, mad scientist. Alone, because he's completely, totally alone. This is the theology I went to Bible college to learn. Let's end with some bashing. And then I'll tell you a little thing about a Catholic boy. So this whole thing, and let me ask you if this sounds familiar, right? So literally, if you took the Bible literally, God is this being totally alone because he is God. He is reality by himself. There is nothing else outside of him. He's reality. And we don't know, but he had to project himself. He had to blow himself into these little robots that he created. No one can tell me that there's any context that a intelligence created something out of itself and gave it free will it totally reveals you don't believe in logic. You don't believe in rational things that make sense. That doesn't make sense. There's no reference for that. What did you create and give free will lately, motherfucker? And for your fake fucking pseudo intellect and your pseudo knowledge, you need to suck a fucking dick. You need to humble yourself and go and sell everything you got, give it to the poor, and go follow some shaman in Africa or Siberia. Change. If you're like that, if you're a real human being and you've lived like that your whole life and you feel the conviction of that, give that up, sell everything you got, and move to a complete polar opposite lifestyle. Use every bit of your money and invest every single last dollar in that new lifestyle of either spirit, energy is real or it's not. Either we're peons, dust in the fucking wind, or we're eternal, living, creative beings, right? And I was saying this is how Maria works, or this is just something that happened to me. You might call it synchronicity, maybe? Well, like I said, I was listening to myself and thinking, how America ended because we could never unite against the people robbing us, lying to us, I mean, bottom line, the working man could never tolerate each other or unite enough to seize the means of production. And the main means of production is fighter jets and bombs. That's what we do now. We don't fight people soldier to soldier, warrior to warrior. We drop bombs from the sky on children. That's new. That's shock and awe. That's your goddess, Shekinah. That's how blasphemous they are. That's how blasphemous they are, I should say. That's manly P. Hall for you right there. That's Masonic shit right there. Yeah, the Masons. They're the un-Masons. But respect and recognition that they are the Masons that built the prison that you're in. The mental prison that you're in. The energetic prison that we're in. And that's why I'm saying this, because that energetic prison is putting this 15-year-old kid through this. And this is how me and him, met on another level. But I was saying to myself, and I was getting a bit upset because, like I said, all my customers are dying from fast-acting tumors. I guess that's a coincidence. Since the you know what I'm talking about. That was supposed to help people. And I was thinking about my one customer, like, I love you, man. We didn't really know each other. Who died a couple months ago. And he wasn't very old. He was maybe 60. And he died quickly. And I was just saying to him, like, it's just such bullshit that, people say, it's all about love. But do they really love each other? Like, I was thinking, like, and, the whole racial hatred in America that still exists. I mean, the insanity of blaming someone else is so dark. And I kept delivering, and I kept saying, like, I love you, man. I love you. I want you to know, like, I don't know any other words but to say, like I like you. But even, like, I feel like I wanted to do something for you. I wish I could have helped you live longer, And I'm pulling up to this house, and they have the Jesus sign in the front yard, like, Jesus, I trust you. The white, blue-eyed Jesus, like, in the white robes, like, I seen him, several times. And it's like a seriously brain damaged, like Down syndrome, teenager, probably like 14, 15. And sometimes he'll be outside. So I get out, to give him this. I go, what did I say? Oh, I go, here you go, brother. And he goes, and like, in my mind, 10 seconds before this, I was thinking about my customer to die, like, I love you. Like, fuck the rest of the bullshit. Like, I care about you, wherever you are. And it was just like like, I was thinking that, and then I started thinking about other customers, that died. And I'm thinking this to myself, and then all of a sudden I see the Down syndrome kid, and I was like, and him too, and him too. I love this kid. How he likes me, So I hand him the package, and I go, here you go, brother. And he looked me straight in the eyes, and he goes, I love you too. And And it was like a wave of magic energy like went through me, like, you heard me. And I heard his voice inside of my head say, I did hear you. He said, I know you can hear me. I was like, I can hear you. And I looked at him. I said, it's good to see you. He said, good to see you too. And I would have to say, that was the first time a customer ever said, I love you, for giving them a package that they paid to have delivered. Right? Was it a coincidence? I was thinking about him, and he responded in real time. Like the astronomical value of that is I delivered probably 50,000, tens of thousands. No one ever said, I love you. Okay? This is no lie. The next day, I was delivering again. And sometimes I got my headphones on, and sometimes I'll listen to music, and I'm used to no one being home, so I'm going up to these people's door, porch with a package, and I'm saying or singing something to myself, and I don't see that the guy's sitting on the porch, and I know him. And the first thing I said to him is, hey, what's up? I haven't seen you in a long time. And he, and I just couldn't help but notice he looked terrible. He looked like he aged 10 years in a few months. And he goes, oh, well, he's like, I don't know if I've been really sick, and, the doctors, sick of doctors. He's like, again, strangely enough, isn't this what makes the world interesting? How bad the Catholic Church is, and he's Catholic too. And I know that because he said I was out here praying the rosary. And then I realized, like, oh yeah, he's Catholic. He gets all that Catholic shit, Catholic newspapers, and they're still so rich. They're still just pouring out fucking shit, because they got so much money and I don't know what to do with it. And it was weird. It was just like the Down syndrome kid, because he's dying. So he's like on another energy frequency or something. I don't know. But I felt just this whole like thing, At first I was like embarrassed. I didn't know what I was saying. I was like, holy shit, I hope I wasn't singing something crazy. Like, I didn't know he was there. I'm thinking that, and like he snapped me out of it with this, like, I'm out here praying the rosary. He's like maybe in his early 60s. And I don't want to say it, but my impression, like when I looked at him, is like, you're dying. And and that's what he is like. He was hearing my thoughts too, and he's like, I am, I've been sick, and I didn't know, but he kind of acted like he thought I knew. And so I give him the package, and I say, I said, how you doing? Blah, blah. I'm out here praying the rosary. And so I'm walking away from him, and he goes, I've never had a conversation with this dude. I just had that much conversation with him before. Like giving him a package. Like the first time I ever did, I introduced myself. So he was retired. I would see him once in a while, and we just never did more than exchange pleasantries. For real. But that day I knew, in that moment even, I knew there was something different about him. And like, for him to be that unashamedly Catholic, he knew was like dumb, but that's all he knew, and that he was going to do what he knew. Like, it really was like a strange microcosm of everything, of like, there's a lot of good people here in America, you know, and because we won't stop these evil people, there's no explanation to the victims. There's no other explanation. You know, they're like, we would have, you know, died. Trying to stop them because that's all they know is war. I'm talking about Palestinians. But anyway, like I said, this was the next day after the Down syndrome boy. I gave my friend the package and I was walking away from him. He said, "Joe, I love you." And it was crazy, like it did stop the world. For just a moment. And it was like it echoed somewhere. And I just stopped. And I said, "I love you too, man." And that's the energy field you and I have to move out on with Maria. Like she said, Germany was the underdog. Austria was the whole world united against a fake enemy. And they all pointed our guns at us. And she said, as Lou was telling me in real time, only the Avatar can do this. Even carry the energy of this and not surrender and give up everyone to slavery. Only the Avatar can stand and fight. And to blame Germans and Germany, and there was no genocide. There was no killing of, I mean, there's horrible people in every country and innocent people get killed everywhere, but there was not the systematic killing that you think, that they tell you. That was not allowed and would never be allowed. It's immoral, and it was never happened. What happened was a calculation that if we don't make these people work and help us fight a enemy that outnumbers us 10-1, we have no chance at winning. So the real German crime of World War II was that they dared stand up and fight, and that they dared try to win.
Sit first, my friend, on the mountain high, where the winds speak truth and the spirits sigh. In silence the earth whispers what you seek, to mend what's broken, to find what's weak. The hoop of life bend, cracked and worn, by wounds untended, promises torn. But there's a way to heal what's true, a path within that calls to you. Your medicine lives in the soul's deep well, in dreams that sing, in tales that tell. So climb the mountain, sit with the sky, ask spirit to show you what, when, and why. Listen for visions, hear what they say. Let them teach you a sacred way. Bring back the gifts you're meant to find, to heal the world and ease the mind.
In the rhythm of the earth, I feel like ancient spirits dancing, guiding the night. With every wave of the river, I hear your song. You whisper through the trees where we all belong. You're the echo of the ages, a sacred call. You're the return of the ancient ones, it's true. The melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Flowing like the water, nurturing the ground. In the cradle of creation, our hearts are found. You're the mother of dreams, the stars up above. With every breath I take, I feel your love. Go forth, my soul, in peace and harmony. You're the return of the ancient ones, it's true. The melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Embrace the love, let the music flow. In the heart of the world, let your spirit flow. In the rhythm of the earth, I feel like ancient spirits dancing, guiding the night. With every wave of the river, I hear your song. You whisper through the trees where we all belong. You're the echo of the ages, a sacred call. You're the return of the ancient ones, it's true. The melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Flowing like the water, nurturing the ground. In the cradle of creation, our hearts are found. You're the mother of dreams, the stars up above. With every breath I take, I feel your love. Go forth, my soul, in peace and harmony. You're the return of the ancient ones, it's true. The melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Embrace the love, let the music flow.